With AfteRite, there's a clue in the title. It's after the rite of spring. So there's this idea that in a way it's set in a speculative future. It's in an alien landscape. It's a very arid, dry landscape. And this very human story unfolds of a mother and her two children and a decision that she has to make, a huge decision that she has to make. In this narrative, one of the children is released. She is allowed to be free. And we don't know what's happened to her. And I always thought it would be amazing if, at the beginning of Les Noces, we start back with that child that was free and made almost a sequel to The Rite of Spring. And that's not an unusual thing to do, because if you think about the music itself, it very much shares DNA, it shares ideas. There's a sense in which, even though the pieces were made 10 years apart, there's a construction that talks to one another. Of course, The Rite of Spring has much more expressionist kind of vocabulary. Les Noces is kind of a little bit more abstract. It's kind of more meticulous and very rigorous and almost like fragmented. But they're connected. So ours is one evening, in a way. It's one set of stories. The first one, The Rite of Spring, is a human story that unfolds in real time. And Les Noces is almost like taking a glass and smashing it on the floor and taking the bits up and trying to reconstruct the image. It's like a mosaic. So you never quite get a single narrative. You get multiple narratives at the same time. Well, that's what we're trying anyway. Well, first of all, the company dancers, it's such a pleasure to be in a studio making with these incredible dancers in real time. You know, it's always a gift, not only for the dancers to work creatively and author a new piece with a choreographer, but also for a choreographer to get to know the dancers in a creative, imaginative way. So what we're trying to do is work together. You know, I'm working with them in a collaborative sense to draw out of them ideas. This work can't be made anywhere else. It's made here with these individuals. Their stamp is on it. And I'm very lucky to have this incredible cast for, well, for both pieces, but in the creation. And then with Alessandra, I mean, Alessandra is a dream collaborator. I've worked with her many, many times now before. And, you know, there's something really extraordinary about that experience and that exquisite kind of emotionality that she brings to the work. Of course, the instrument is beautiful. You know, she's got incredible legs. She's so technical. She's in amazing shape. But it's the other stuff that she brings to the room and to the work that's really important. And that's something that I feel I've learned a lot from her. How is it that you inflect a physical phrase to actually carry a different kind of meaning? How is it that you just direct it to get more out of it from an emotional point of view? And she's so powerful in this work. It's maybe it's because she has two girls herself. You know, it's very related to perhaps a personal story that she can connect to. But she goes very deep, and it's a very powerful performance from her. Well, you know, for me, technology is just as important as music in a production. And it's something I've always been interested in working in. You know, I had a computer when I was 8 years old and, you know, practiced coding very, very simply, so a little worm would go across the computer screen, you know. So technology has always been very much a part of how I make work. So I think about technology and the technological aspects of the stage while I'm choreographing. They're not separate. I don't make the piece and then add the technology afterwards. So what's interesting about both of these works, the first work is, AfteRite is set in a huge kind of like hydroponic chamber. It's this place where nature grows in this really arid environment. And it's very a technical process where we're almost like engineering plant life. And there's very big large-scale projection, which we actually filmed in the Atacama Desert in Chile, which is very evocative but looks very alien and incredible. For the second piece, for Les Noces, we're using technology really as a puncture. It kind of like aggressively graffitis over the stage. It kind of, it intervenes in the dance. It blurs the body. So it becomes a character in itself. It has a life of its own. It's almost like the environment dictates what happens on stage, whereas in AfteRite, it's the community that dictate the unfolding of the narrative.